Yo guys, Coach Theo here on Common Sense. Today we'll be discussing power building. Is it an abomination or in fact the superior approach to strength and hypertrophy training? Let's find out in this video because obviously I'm the guy with the one true answer to this. No, but seriously, there's been a discussion recently within the noble natty, or I guess the natural lifting community, about power building. I think it was natural hypertrophy that started with a video that was called, I guess, Power Building is an Abomination. And then I've seen Bald Omni-Man, Steve Shaw, Jeffrey Verity Schofield weighing in on the topic. And to be honest, I haven't been following the discussion too closely. I've caught snippets here and there. But being someone that's been considering their approach to the training in the gym as power building, for the little over 5 years I've been training now, and have made pretty damn good results, if I may say so myself, I still think my 2 cents are of value and that I can contribute something to the discussion. So I'm not going to be responding to specific points necessarily. I just give my view on the concept of power building, why I think it's so good, because that's obviously my position. And I should mention briefly here that I picked up the project of writing my training book, or guide, or manual, if you will. Basically, a book where I present my style of training, and the goal is that a person could pick that up and kind of apply the knowledge and do self-coaching, make good progress, just using my philosophy like that. So if you're excited for that, if you're keen to get into that, please let me know in the comments. Please like and comment already now anyway. It also helps support the channel. The algorithm makes more people find their way here. So it's very much appreciated. But without further ado, let's get into the, to the topic of power building. So I think what we have to discuss first is the definition. What is power building? Because I think that's where a lot of confusion comes in. To my understanding, I think, if I recall correctly, I think natural hypertrophy's point was kind of that powerlifting, having a powerlifting-centric training approach is not superior for building muscle in terms of, like, if you focus on the big 3 lifts that you compete with in powerlifting, that's not going to yield the best results in terms of building muscle and getting a good physique. And I would, if that was what we call power building, I would definitely agree, because of course powerlifters, they will build some muscle, they will do some hypertrophy training too, but just as a means of being able to move more weight. Their end goal is always to move as much weight as possible with a form that will pass the competition standards, and they don't really care if they build, you know, if they do a squat and build big quads or not. If building bigger quads would help them get a bigger squat, they would. But if they don't have to, they don't care. They just want to be able to move as much weight as possible. And definitely a powerlifting, the typical powerlifting squat, again, would be a low bar squat when you go just below parallel depth, because that's what's going to make most people able to move the most amount of weight. And in terms of building big quads, again, that, you know, you could build bigger quads using less weight and just doing a different kind of squat. You know, something like a heel elevated front squat, for instance. So I definitely agree that just trying to get stronger on the big 3, and especially using like a powerlifting form, of course, getting stronger will always yield some kind of results in terms of building muscle, but definitely not the superior approach. But to me, my definition of power building is something very different. It's like, let's just look at a word. It's literally the word bodybuilding and powerlifting made into one word. And I just, you know, power building sounds better than like body lifting, right? But to me, it just says that I'm someone that I don't necessarily just prioritizing getting strong. I don't just prioritize building a good physique either. No, I want to build a good physique and get strong at the same time. And to me, this seems like is this not really the goal of every like recreational lifter? Like, yeah, you might be more interested in one of the two, but to me it just seems strange to be into getting stronger and just don't care about physique whatsoever. Or you're someone that you want to build a good physique, but you don't care about your strength numbers whatsoever. No, I think really most people that aren't into competing in one of the two would really like to accomplish good results, like both, not hyper focus on one of the two, right? And I think I would say this though, I picked up on a lot of guys, I find it kind of a cope that they say that, oh, I don't really care about my physique, I just want to get strong, healthy. And to me, that's kind of an escape. To me, the person that says that is really the one that cares the most, but they don't want to admit it. If they don't admit they go for it, they can't fail with it. And also, in terms of physique and leanness and that, it will just take more dietary discipline a lot than it does with powerlifting. So I think sometimes it's just a cop-out. Like, I think many people that consider themselves just a strength guy, they were really long to get a good-looking physique too, but they kind of hide behind this, like, oh, I just care about getting stronger. But yeah, to me, it's trying to accomplish both. I've known since I started that, yeah, I definitely want to get stronger, but I enjoy building a physique as well. So my training has never been oriented around like trying to improve my 1 rep maxes necessarily, even if that's fun too. It's fun to go for every once in a while, but I've been like, no, I want to get stronger on all these compound movements, but not necessarily just my 1 rep max. Like, let's talk about the definition of strength too. It's very specific to powerlifting that moving, how much weight you can move one time is what you compete in. But it can be interesting to know, can I increase my 10 rep max? Can I increase my 10 rep max when I do ass to grass past squats, to come back to the squats again? You know, you can have strength goals and want to get stronger in a movement pattern without necessarily just caring about how much weight can I move for 1 repetition, and it still counts as a squat, for instance. Something I should say too, something that makes power building a little different to just pure bodybuilding to me too, is that we still, even if we care about building muscle too, and don't use necessarily a powerlifting form, like a huge arch on the bench and this low bar squat and that, we do care about like athleticism to some extent. So maybe even someone that's into power building, even if they thought like, let's say doing a squat in a Smith machine, maybe that could build more muscle because you're more stable and you can just focus on using the big movers like that. You don't need as much core strength and coordination and all that. But to me, as a power builder, I care about being good at squatting too, just not necessarily 1 rep of a low bar squat, you see, right? So yes, to me, power building is, we care about getting stronger on compounds, but also variations of compounds. Like I go for 1 rep maxes every once in a while, but again, if we go back to the squat, I wouldn't find it super interesting how much I can move in a low bar squat for 1 rep. I've literally never tried, to be honest, but every once in a while I will go for something like ass to grass past front squat, because it just makes me feel like a beast, you know. And should say, as a power builder, I care about strength, I have goals for that, but it's not just on these three movements. Like, apart from variations of the movements, I think something that's really lacking in powerlifting to me is a big pull. So something like a weighted chin-up would be my go-to, of course, that I've used a lot. I care about getting stronger at, but it's also an amazing back builder. I guess something, just thought of it now, if you could do some kind of strict seal row, that could fit some kind of powerlifting-like strength competition sport, you know. But so to me, power building is, yeah, we do care about getting stronger, but we don't keep it only to these 3 movements and not only that specific form. We do variations of them and care about getting stronger on the variations as well. And we like to add in some other exercises like, a weighted chin-up or some kind of heavy row and get stronger on that as well. And in power building, I would say you can of course, even a power lifter will have like hypertrophy blocks, because of course it will aid them to have more muscle mass. It's just that it's not their main goal. It's a means of getting stronger. So they will have hypertrophy blocks, and maybe a bodybuilder will even have strength blocks, because, you know, if you can move more weight from your working sets when you get back to your hypertrophy training, that will yield better muscle building results. And to me, power building is just that kind of, we don't really go into blocks. We might have different training blocks, but not necessarily strength block, hypertrophy block. No, we kind of go for some sort of average all the time. So that would lead to, for instance, not on our compounds, we won't mostly do like 1 to 3 reps training, because that's the thing with powerlifting too. You train becoming efficient at recruiting your muscle mass and getting a strong nervous system and being very efficient at, performing, doing a form on your lifts that just, the most efficient in moving as much weight as possible. And for that, when that's your main goal, you should definitely be training in a low rep range, 1 to 3 reps a lot. But so, as a power builder, we do kind of low reps, but in the higher end, so maybe 5 to 8 reps, because we can definitely get stronger. It might just not be the fastest way to a bigger 1 rep max, but we will also get more time under tension and build muscle at the same time. And I think this is the thing. We can have strength goals. Like me, for instance, right now, as a power builder, I've been bulking. I've just been having to hold back a bit because I hurt my wrist, so I've kind of been maintaining. It's getting back to normal. But I have a goal that I want to get a 140 kilo bench press, because I've never done that, and I could, if that was my only goal I would probably benefit from training more in a lower rep range, but I don't mind getting there in a slower way because it's not my main goal. It's not the only thing. I don't want to change my training that much just for this goal. So I've been focusing on, I started out like 100 kilos, start of the bulk, I could do for 5-6 reps. And I started progressing up my reps to 10%, and now I'm adding more weight, and I will do something similar with 105 kilos and that. And of course, this will make my 1 rep max bigger as well. It's just, again, if that was my only goal, yes, then it might not be the fastest approach, but what I'm saying is, even something like a 1 rep max, you can increase by not necessarily only doing the sort of lower rep training. You could do both at the same time. And so with power building, I would say, we focus on compounds, definitely, It's just that we might take variations that we take into consideration. For instance, again, the squat, we pick a variation that will hit the quads more rather than the variation that will help us move the most weight in total. And we focus on getting stronger on these compounds. And then it's just that we might choose our accessory and isolation exercises more from like a bodybuilding point of view. Like for me, for instance, I'm kind of torso dominant. The big pulls and pushes are going to do a lot for my chest, shoulders, and back. But my arms, I consider a weak part. And therefore, I might, I pick accessories to improve my arms purely muscularly. It's not necessarily accessories I pick to improve my compound exercises, right? And a powerlifter would probably pick exercises more with that in mind. But again, sometimes this will overlap, Like for me, maybe, I'm just making it up now, I haven't thought about this really, but maybe getting bigger biceps would help me get stronger at my weighted chin-ups as well. So again, you don't always have to pick either or. We're looking for some kind of average. When can I get them as much as possible of both worlds here? But then the last point I want to make is that, of course, even if you have a power builder style and you are someone that I'm trying to get stronger and build a good physique at the same time, of course you could take blocks, more like strength and hypertrophy. If you just I really want to chase this strength goal now, of course you could opt to train in a lower rep range for a while to reach that strength goal. Or of course, you could be like, I really want to really focus just on my physique now, on these lagging body parts. Of course, you could go into more like purer bodybuilding approach, maybe more a split, which isn't necessarily quite as compound-centric, Yeah. I think that's my 2 cents on the whole thing, guys. I think most of the confusion comes from just the definition, because I would definitely agree that just trying to get as strong as possible on 3 lifts with a powerlifting form is not the best way to get stronger. But when we break it down in this way, don't most guys that go to the gym, they want to both be strong and look strong? You want to look jacked and be jacked at the same time. Well, then I think power building, focusing on getting stronger on compound exercises, but just not chasing 1 rep maxes all the time, and being smart with your accessories and isolations, I just think it's the way to go. So yeah, I am writing that book where I will, of course, because I have more goals than just strength and hypertrophy that I won't go into in this video. But please let me know again if that's something you'd be interested in. Please consider supporting the channel by becoming a member, by the way. forgotten to bring it up, but there are other ways you can support me and the channel. It's very much appreciated. You can see it all in the description below. Same info there if you want to reach out for coaching with mindset, fitness, nutrition, building strength, losing weight, building a bulletproof mindset, and really anything I talk about on this channel, I coach. You can reach me. I'll tell you what my different options are, and please subscribe for more content about fitness, fasting, losing weight, building muscle, self-improvement, stoicism, mental health, philosophy, spirituality, mindset. It is a mindset, guys. Power building is the master race, in my humble opinion. Okay, peace.